I wonder how many of us have Christmas cards that have images on them that don't really reflect what is in the Bible. For example, having wooden outside stable scenes in which Jesus is born, like mine here. The place Jesus was born in was almost certainly an inner room, probably a cave at the back of the house, rather than something like this. Yes, it had animals in it, which Luke chapter 2 tells us, but as part of the house. Bethlehem is hilly and rocky, so houses were normally built of stone and were often built on the front of existing caves, so the actual stable part would actually be at the back, actually in the cave. Why do I mention this? Well, in one part it's an understandable mistake. People in the United Kingdom reading Luke's Gospel, they read that Jesus was born among animals, so they assume that the way the animals will be stabled will be just like the stables we have here, or at least maybe the ones of a few hundred years ago. It's an understandable mistake, but it is a mistake. And I'd like to explore the significance of that with a different kind of illustration. When I was a child, an extension was built onto the back of my parents' house. Maybe the concrete in the foundations wasn't entirely level. And I know for certain that when the bricks were being laid one on top of the other, that the bubble was not often absolutely dead centre in the spirit level. The combination of these small mistakes added on top of each other so that the overall wall was noticeably out of being true vertical. The plasterer had quite a hard job trying to bring it back to vertical. Back to the Christmas story. Quite a few of the images that we have on Christmas cards that circulate in this country are not fully accurate. Each one might have a fairly small detail in it, like the arrow with the stable. But the problem is they can all add up to make an overall picture that's significantly distorted from the real thing. Just like with my parents' house, one small error on its own probably would have got away with, but add several one on top of another, and all of a sudden the wall is noticeably not vertical. Now with my parents' house, that wasn't a terribly serious mistake. The plasterer could cover it up. But I know of some errors that have been made in a big company not too far away from here, where the errors added up to costing several £100 million to put right and delayed the completion of the building by years. Some combinations of errors have drastic consequences. And that can be the problem that we can have with our image of God. The odd Christmas card with a slightly false scene on it is neither really here nor there. But what about our own image of God that we have? I wonder if some of us have accumulated a whole number of different mistakes one on top of the other, with the overall result that our view of God is actually quite significantly inaccurate. And the problem with that is if we have a view that's not complete, we might not trust that God, for the simple reason it's not like the one who really exists. Christmas is a marvellous time for us to re-examine some of those ideas, explore who this Jesus who came to earth really is. What is he like? I think you may be pleasantly surprised to find what the real Jesus is really like. I think that could easily be your best Christmas present ever. May you enjoy unwrapping it this year. May God bless you all.